Welcome to Murundoi. To all intents and purposes, everything seems to be pretty okay.
Murundoi is a local radio serial drama which initially started out in October of 2006 with specific emphasis on promoting behavioral change aimed at reducing the spread of HIV and improving the quality of life of persons living with HIV and AIDS, among others. But recently, that focus has shifted. Former radio broadcaster and announcer with the Guyana Broadcasting Corporation, Margaret Lawrence, is the executive director of Murundoi Inc.
The project funded by PEPFAR ended at the end of December 2010. But the unique thing about the March strategy, which is an edutainment strategy, education and entertainment combined, is that it can be applied to all situations, sectors in the society. So we sought to apply them to other areas where we thought that we needed behavior change. So right now we're looking at gender-based violence.
The group uses a strategy called March. This is a combating technique which has proven its worth.
What we seek to do is to literally model characters that represent everyday people.
In putting together an episode on gender-based violence, the production team often gets down to a study geared at capturing a well-informed production.
We train our writers, we have workshops and so forth, so we expose them to all the sides of gender-based violence. Then all that data is collected and put into what we call a data summary grid. And that data summary grid is broken down. We find negative characters, the positive characters, the factors that mitigate for and against change and so forth. So it's a huge research document that you come up with.
Gender-based violence, including sexual violence, occurs in all communities in Guyana. It's in your neighborhood. It is the hidden crime which is kept as a secret. Laying excuses and covering up only help the abuser.
Ron Robinson is a production manager, and according to him, one thing he does not do is to shy away from reality.
It's based actually on the reality of our society. And in Guyana, like many other places, domestic violence has been on the increase for a long time. And we needed to say something very strong about it.
But getting the messages across the borders are imperative for the group, and as Darwin Humphrey, Project Operations Manager, explains, looking at an area such as gender-based violence and wanting to make a difference can impact you also.
Not only is it personal, but when you actually go in the field and you see how it impacts the lives of men, women, even children, you know, it's something that really has an indirect and sometimes direct impact on your own psyche.
Gender-based violence has struck a chord in the lives of almost every member of the team, but how have they been able to channel those experiences towards a positive direction?
So I've grown up around family members who were very abusive, and so that kind of impacted, you know, what I put in the storyline.
Sometimes when you're writing, it takes you to an emotional place, because for me personally, when I write, I empathize with my characters.
There is no argument that gender-based violence affects women and girls primarily, since they are oftentimes the most vulnerable in society. It has become the custom or linked to cultural beliefs.
Growing up, I witnessed a lot of domestic violence and drug abuse and alcohol abuse. And while I was growing up, I think it was norm.
I think sometimes people are violent and, they're abusive and they don't understand how it affects the person they're abusing or their extended family members. But I think our goal is to help them to show them that, this is the way the violence affect the people around them, and so, they can really feel and identify characters, and I think we've succeeded with that.
Despite the Domestic Violence Act of 1996, which gives victims legal protection from their abusers, domestic violence is still rampant in Guyana. Nevertheless, Murundoi plans to continue doing its work on the airwaves.
It's a really sickening thing to just open the papers and see another woman dead by the hands of her husband. Or, well, you hardly see the men going to the station to complain, but those that do it are brave enough.
You more bleeding?
Oh, me the head with this number. Oh, best to kill myself.
No, man, no.
Handel Duncan, HBTV Channel 9 Guyana, for Live Up the Show.